Ken, Jennifer, your speeches are reflective of the outstanding class of 1988. Before I present the class of 1988, please allow me to reflect a little bit upon the theme that Jennifer talked about, and one that you chose last fall as a result of a tragic accident last summer. The theme of your class was choices, the ability to make the right choices as you move through life. Many of you have already made excellent choices to this point, as scholarships given to 22% of your class, totaling $1,055,839 attests. 14 members of your class have a grade point average of 4.0 or above, and 170 of you have a grade point average of 3.0 or above. This represents 36% of a truly outstanding class. All of this was done while graduation requirements were increased, requiring more academic involvement. During the past 13 years, or more in a few cases, you have encountered those dedicated individuals who proudly call themselves teachers, who implored you to make the right choices in your lives in school by encouraging, by scolding, by loving, but always anticipating your success. With your graduation from high school, you reach an ending, yet a new beginning. Your choices become more global in nature. Please exercise your rights as citizens of this great country of ours and become a responsible, educated, and active electorate. Had this class voted as a block, all 550 of you, during the past city council or school board elections, you could have changed the entire makeup of our elected officials. In 1960, when John F. Kennedy was elected president, the margin of popular vote across the country was less than 1 vote per precinct. Your knowledgeable vote does count. In order to compete in a world market, you must make the choice to continue growing mentally. Our major asset is the ability of our American people to compete. Please remember, education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an open mind. I quote from your own Choices Handbook, "Everything in life is a choice. It is our wish that you will make the right choices." Dr. Burnley, it is my pleasure to recommend that the assembled members of the class of 1988 be granted their diplomas. They have met, and in many cases, far exceeded the required standards for graduation. The class of 1988, through their hard work, dedication, and service, have earned the right to proudly become members of the select alumni of Thomas B. Doherty High School. Class of 1988, we salute your accomplishments.
Doherty High School, Spartan, class of '88. Sitting here with Ken Moss, and he told me to ask you if you felt huge and fresh. And so I ask you, do you feel huge and fresh? Do you feel good? Well, I feel good. Sitting up here watching many of you, I have an opportunity to basically join in what you have done. I've not done it. The rest of us here in the assemblage have not done it. You have made tremendous accomplishments. But as we sit and watch you, we watch the joy, the happiness, we even see some tears, some sadness, and I actually get chills. And I'm willing to bet that as I stand here, your parents, relatives, friends, and guests, as well as the teachers who've helped you, staff who've helped you, are feeling just as I do. In fact, we all know that no man is an island, but a part of the continent, part of the main. And so let's turn for a moment from you, the graduating class, and just give a hand to our parents, friends, relatives, teachers, and staff members who've helped us on this accomplishment. I have but a few short words for you. You know, we think about failure and success, and really there are only a couple of things that really stop us from succeeding. One is those who have thought and never done. The other is those who have done and never thought. And so I say to you, Don't worry so much about what you want to be, but instead what you want to be able to do. Make a plan, work your plan. Think and do. And so now for the big moment. Mr. Higman has presented you Spartan Doherty High School graduating class of '88 for acceptance. I have but one question. Should I accept?
Yes.
Mr. Higman, would you join me here, please? I am outnumbered, Ken, that's correct. As superintendent of schools, you have presented to me the Doherty High School Spartan graduating class of '88. And I, knowing that they have completed all the requirements for graduation from Doherty High School as established by the state of Colorado and by the Board of Education of our school district, I do hereby accept the class of '88. Give yourselves a hand. Congratulations.
I assume you like the colors. Interesting for me to be here when I've been on the staff of our district for several years. Lots of seniors I had in class, but never did I think I'd face almost 500 all at once. When I was first asked to say a few words at your graduation, I asked a senior friend of mine what she'd like to hear. She said, "I don't know, but make it brief." So I asked her what she didn't want to hear. And she said, "For the last 6 weeks, all we've been hearing is, you're on your own now, the real world out there, you will be responsible for making your own decisions," and so on. This reminded me of a story I read several years ago called the tremble factor. Did you ever tremble when you had to make a speech? This story is about ancient Rome. Rome had wonderful architects and workmen who planned and built magnificent buildings and aqueducts with many very, very high arches. To construct an arch, a scaffolding was built in the shape and the height required. Wedge-shaped stones were fitted tightly together and placed on the scaffolding. At the top, where the stones approached the apex, a specially made wedge-shaped stone called the keystone was inserted. When the keystone was firmly in place, the architect and workmen were made to stand under the arch when the scaffolding was removed. Will you be willing to be that responsible? If so, build a very good arch. At one of our high schools, as I was visiting to attend an award ceremony, a student, I'm sure a senior, who had just finished that last final, remember last week? Shouting, "I'm done with school." Thankfully, school may end, but learning never does. It is estimated that when you seniors hit the workforce, you will change jobs at least 6 times in your career. Does that require relearning? You bet. Hopefully, you have received in our district the basic education that you've now completed in your 13 years of schooling to enable you when you want to get a job, keep a job, pass the next course, and be able to succeed in whatever you want to do. A month ago, I attended the Adult Education Center graduation. There were 17 adults graduating and received GEDs. For those of us who are in the school business, we know that means that's an equivalency of a high school diploma. One of the graduates I talked to was a man who had served in World War II and then settled in Boulder. He told me he had spent more time on the university campus than most graduates as a plumber. On retirement, he returned to Colorado Springs and decided he wanted to get a high school diploma. With the help of one of our junior high teachers, he enrolled in the adult education program and at age 68 received his GED. One other graduate I talked to was a young man who had dropped out of school, been kicked out of school, had attended EOP, which is our alternative high school, and finally went to the Adult Education Center. When I asked him what next, he said, college, of course. His parents stood proudly at his side, and his mother said, he's just a late bloomer. So, to quote Winston Churchill, never, never, never give up. Now, with the help of my other board members, we are ready for the conferring of your diplomas.
Sounds like a good idea.
No, you walk out, back, and around the table.
Close to your work.
Brian Taylor Glazer.
Kenneth Edward Moss.
Jeffrey Scott Jones.
Jennifer Beth Oriker.
Warren Lee Abeta.
Vicki K. Adams.
Raymond Lee Althauser.
Vincent Mark Alvarez.
Jason Hamilton Ames.
Russell Allen Anderson.
Ava Diana Archuleta.
Stephen Scott Armand.
Ellen Angelique Armstrong.
Kyle Richard Atchley.
Gina Florence Atkins.
Sue Thon Au.
Amy Lynn Ayers.
Deborah Elaine Bachman.
Joseph Alvin Bothaven.
Taggart John Bailey.
Lisa Benigna Baird.
Lonnie Dean Barger.
Karina Lee Barnes.
Karen Lynn Baumgartner.
Jody Michelle Beanland.
George David Beck.
Christopher Henrich B.
Elise Catherine Beasley.
Tiffany Bell.
Brian Llewellyn Bennett.
Angela Renee Bent.
Aaron Vincent Bird.
Stacy Ann Bergstrom.
Brandy Lee Berry.
Eric Todd Batey.
Robert Donaldson Binder.
Robert Alley Bissey.
John David Bittner.
Julie Ann Black.
Janessa Marie Blair.
Ronald Dean Blair II.
Tracy Lynn Blair.
Lisa Jean Blakely.
Ada Elena Blasini.
Paul William Blease.